Jamie McLeod-Skinner is from Oregon 5. She's in arguably the most important race of the night on the House side against Kurt Schrader, who's an incumbent. Jamie's been on before, supported by a lot of progressive organizations, including Working Families Party, Elizabeth Warren, and Rebellion PAC. So Jamie, we have a report out from one of the establishment organizations, I think it was Cook Report, but I'm not positive, that says that you're leading going in. When you see that, how nervous do you get? How excited and how worried at the same time?
Well, we'll see the results after all the ballots come in. But the bottom line is the whole time has not been about me. It's been about our working families, our environment, our democracy. And so it's just a matter of being the foot soldiers, whether it's myself as a candidate, whether it's the folks who were on calls. I was on calls till just recent myself, encouraging people to turn in their ballots. It's about us. And so that part's exciting. A lot of attention's come to this race because it's about turning away from the corporate PAC power and really focusing on the needs of our working families.
So look, there's still 2 hours left before the polls close. By the way, if you live in Oregon 5, make sure you go out and vote, no matter who you're voting for. But Jamie, even if it's a close race, it's still a minor miracle, like in either direction, that you could be that close, let alone have the opportunity to win. So what do we attribute that to? Why did this race get so close when usually incumbents can just lean on the power of incumbency, the money, the PACs, Democratic leadership, and just blow you out? But they just couldn't blow you out. What happened?
This is all about Oregonians stepping up and saying, we want leadership that takes care of working families, that takes care of our environment, and that protects our democracy and our civil rights. And so, I had the good fortune I had the privilege of having my name and face on the ballot, but this is really much bigger than myself. It's about that vision for our future. It's about the hopes and fears being dashed by not getting things done in Congress, and really, working people wanting to step up, make sure things are done. And so we were able to push back on Kurt Schrader, who has taken millions of dollars in corporate PAC money and been beholden to corporate PAC interests. This is about, and the future is about, giving hope to people and providing and stepping up for our working families and working people.
So some in the audience might remember, Jamie, from the interview that we did, but others might remember from the absurd ad that Kurt Schrader ran that Anna and I broke down on the Young Turks, where he had the dogs and he's like, oh my God, I love dogs and I'm fighting for lower drug prices. And in reality, actually, he was the #1 culprit for higher drug prices in Congress. And so, Jamie, how frustrating is it, or did you find it as like relatively normal, that he still had the entire Democratic Party on his side when he's the one that was torpedoing their agenda?
Well, he actually did not have the Democratic Party on his side. We had 4 county Democratic parties who stepped up and endorsed me in the primary, including his home county of Clackamas. And there was that statement. There were national leaders like Senator Elizabeth Warren who spoke up. There were organizations like the National Organization for Women and Working Families Party. So we had, at the national level, we had Support Victory Fund, but also, at the grassroots level, it was individual donors to offset his corporate PAC money. It was individual volunteers who stepped up, and a remarkable team I worked with that just really said, this has got to be about a positive future going forward for our working families, protecting our environment and protecting our democracy. That grassroots power is real. All those contributions, from the $5 to the $10 that came in from all across the country, you helped to make this happen. So thank you for being a part of this movement. I think there's also real excitement in bringing a rural perspective and a rural voice to the progressive movement. A lot of folks, a lot of the voices in the progressive movement are more urban based. And so talking about our shared values coming out of a rural Central Oregon is something that a lot of folks are really excited about as well.
All right, last couple of things here. So if you make it into the general election, how close is this district in the general?
This is going to be a very close race. Now, here's the bottom line, though, that looking back, had Kurt run in a race this close in his last election, he would have lost. Had I run in a race this close in the old 2nd Congressional District, before Oregon got a new Congressional District and the lines were all redrawn. Had I run in a race this close, I would have won hands down, because it's that ability to connect, to bridge the urban-rural divide, to bridge the political divide, and focus on those common aspirations, the common challenges that we're facing. So we, going into the general, we are well positioned to win, and we'll do the things we've always done: show up, listen, bring people together to focus on the challenges that we're facing, that our working families are facing, and get the job done. That's what Oregonians want. I think that's what Americans want. That's what the Democratic Party has been missing. We're right on the issues. We just got to deliver, and we got to work together to get it done.
All right, and last thing, Jamie, is if you win and make it all the way to Congress, Democratic leadership is going to tell you, stop fighting for $15 minimum wage, Medicare for all, Green New Deal, and that's going to be very literal. I mean, $15 minimum wage, they're still pretending they're in favor of it, but they're not doing anything. And if you do something, they'll be really annoyed by you. And so how do you plan to deal with leadership constantly telling you no?
I'll be there to represent Oregonians and get the job done. And with all due respect, I look forward to working with leadership and working with leadership to get the job done for working families, for Oregonians, and for working families across the country. That's the job that needs to get done right now. That's why we've done so well in this race. We'll see tonight or in the next couple of days. Some ballots will be have to be counted slowly, but we'll know by this week whether or not we've won. That should send a statement to leadership in Washington, D.C. It's about showing up, listening, and getting the job done for working Americans. That's what Democrats need to be doing right now, not just to win races, but govern the way we need to govern to get the job done.
All right, Jamie McLeod-Skinner, Oregon 5. And remember, polls are still open. Polls are open until 8 o'clock in Oregon. So if you haven't voted yet, you should always vote. Jamie, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Thanks for watching The Young Turks. We really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.